Well, now to day 9 of the federal trial of the ex-Memphis police officers accused in the beating death of Tyre Nichols. Today highlighted testimony from medical workers and first responders in the emergency room the night of Nichols' violent encounter with members of the Scorpion unit.
Now, it revolved around how defendants Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith are accused of not sharing the full extent of Nichols' injuries with first responders, which delayed his need for medical treatment. Our Stephen Pempo was in the courtroom today, and Stephen will tell us who exactly took the stand today.
Rudy, Pepper, thank you. Today, we heard from the former paramedic who got to the scene of Nichols' arrest, the emergency room doctor who treated Nichols when he arrived at the hospital, and the fire alarm operator who was the first one to send crews to that scene. Now, all three said none of them were told about the beating that put Tyre Nichols into cardiac arrest. Earlier this morning, former Memphis Fire Department paramedic Jesse Guy continued his testimony. Guy treated Nichols on the scene and in the ambulance to St. Francis Hospital. Guy testified how when they arrived at the scene, the oxygen bag had not yet been brought over to Nichols, despite EMTs already being there. Guy told prosecutor Catherine Gilbert he depends on people sharing information with him so he can do his job properly and provide the proper treatment. Then prosecutor Elizabeth Rogers called Chloe Smith to the stand. Smith is a fire alarm operator for Memphis Fire, and she was working the night of Nichols' arrest and the one who put out the initial call for crews to go. Smith says the only information she got from Memphis Police Dispatch was that an assault had taken place and pepper spray was deployed. She says they dispatched Fire Engine 55 at 8:32 p.m. Then at 8:46, she said the fire engine requested an ambulance be sent. That ambulance got there at 8:55 and brought Nichols to St. Francis Hospital at 9:19. Smith says if she'd known the full extent of Nichols' injuries, they could have sent an ambulance to the scene immediately. Then Dr. Michelle Serbrook took the stand. She's the ER doctor who treated Nichols at the hospital, and she told the court she remembers how unusual it was to see a person as young as Nichols suffering from cardiac arrest. She says she was told only that Nichols was tased and pepper sprayed during the traffic stop, and that he ran from police and had to be taken to the ground. Now, Dr. Serbrook said that when Nichols arrived at the hospital, she remembers he had a broken tooth, he had blood in his mouth, and he had swelling on his head and abrasions on his knees. She said that while they were able to restore his pulse, the longer someone is in cardiac arrest, the more likely they are to suffer brain damage, which can be deadly. Coming up at 6, we'll hear from another former Scorpion member who says he witnessed the defendants beating more people during arrests. Live in downtown Memphis, I'm Stephen Pimpo.
All right, Stephen, thank you.